guys, welcome to my new video. This is a slightly more intermediate to advanced routine and you will need some weights. Just make sure they're light weights, nothing more than 1.5 kilos. So if you don't have weights, you can use water bottles or you can use bean cans, or you can do it without, that's absolutely fine. So what we're going to do is first of all, come and sit on our mat. We're just going to place our weights to the floor for a second. And I want you to place your hands around the back of your thighs. And just try and lift the chest, but lengthen up through the back of the neck. And just drop your shoulders down. So we're sitting nice and tall. And I want you to take a few deep breaths, just in through the nose and out through the mouth. Just trying to fill up into the lungs. And then exhaling, imagining that rib cage is just closing in around your middle. So deep breath in through the nose. And then exhale, feel that rib cage just closing in. And without rolling back, on your next exhale, we're just going to soften the spine. So we want to feel like the tailbone is just tucking under, but at the same time the chest is gently folding forwards. So I can still feel both sit bones on the floor. And then I inhale to lengthen up. And again I exhale to fold. And then I inhale to lengthen up. And again. And then as we exhale, we'll take a little fold. And keeping hold of the back of the thighs, just rock back off the sit bones, just as far as the arms will allow you to roll. And then inhale forwards. And as the shoulders reach the hips, straighten up. And again, we soften and we roll. And then we inhale forwards and we straighten up. One more time. And then as we bring ourselves all the way to seated, float the arms out in front of you now. And we'll do the same thing. We'll soften the spine, so allow the chest to gently fold as the tailbone tucks. And then we'll start to roll back. Now this time, you can go a bit further. So if you can get there, take the lower back all the way to the mat. Keep the head, neck and shoulders lifted. And then inhale to roll yourself all the way up, shoulders in line with hips. And we straighten, lift that chest. And again, we soften first and we rock back off the sit bone. So feel that tailbone just sliding underneath so that lower back touches the mat. And then we inhale all the way forwards. Shoulders in line with hips and we straighten up. One more time. As we bring ourselves all the way up, sitting up nice and tall, I want you to inhale, float the arms, and then exhale, draw a nice big circle around the body. And again, deep breath in. Exhale to draw that circle. So this will depend on your space a little bit as well. Inhale, exhale to open. One more time. And then as we relax the arms, I want you to take hold of your weight. And see if you can stretch your legs out in front of you. Now we're going to do a little bit of rolling back. So if you're someone who finds your back is a little bit flat, you might want to place a cushion just up against your lower back for you to roll back onto. That's up to you. Otherwise, a weight in each hand. And we're going to take a deep breath in, have a reach forwards to the toes. Now from here, point your toes, start to tuck the tailbone. So again, tailbone is sliding under the body and we're just going to gently roll ourselves back. Now you don't have to go all the way to the floor if you don't want to, but if you can get there, deep breath in, float the arms overhead. Now exhale, arms over the chest, start to nod the chin, point your toes and look towards your toes, look where you want to go. Start to roll yourself up, have a little reach forwards towards those feet. And again, we tuck the tailbone. So we slide, slide, slide. Feel those vertebrae one at a time rolling down towards the floor. We float the arms. And then we exhale, arms, chin, chest. And we keep looking towards the feet. We keep reaching forwards, forwards, forwards. Now this time, as you reach forwards, sweep the arms behind. Nice big stretch behind you. Draw them back towards the toes. And we'll start to roll one vertebrae at a time down towards the floor. Float those arms overhead. And again, arms, chin, chest. Look towards the feet. Keep reaching forwards, forwards, forwards. And as you stretch to the toes, circle the arms behind. Nice big stretch. Float them back towards the toes. We're going to do one more. Tuck that tailbone. Arms overhead. And then arms, chin, chest. Look towards those feet. Keep reaching, reaching, reaching. And then sweep those arms behind. Nice big circle. And then as we draw the arms out in front, we're going to sit up nice and tall. And I want you to bend your knees, step your feet towards you. Couple of options. We're going to tuck the tailbone. And again, just rock back about halfway to the floor so we find a balance. Try and just roll those shoulders back and down. And we could float one arm and the opposite leg. Alternate sides. So we're bringing that arm up towards the ear. We don't want to go behind the head. Just as far as is comfortable through that shoulder joint, and you should always be able to see that arm out of the corner of your eye. Now if you wanted to, we could do both arms and one leg, making sure that upper body stays stable, so the upper body doesn't move. Think about scooping in the belly button. We could do both arms and both legs. Again, upper body is staying strong. I'm going to add in a little circle with the arms. So as I float the legs, I'm going to circle those arms around, just scraping the floor. And as I bring the arms forwards, I tap the toes. So we lift arms and legs, and we circle the arms, scrape the floor, and then I tap the toes. Two more. So remember, this is getting a little bit trickier each time. So you can come back to opposite arm and leg. Last one. Scooping in that belly button. And relax. Gently lower yourself all the way down towards the floor. So just resting your arms down by your sides. Place your feet to hip distance. So make sure your right foot is in line with your right hip. And keep it there as you rest the left ankle over your right knee. Bring the arms up over the chest. And as we breathe out, we're going to press on that right foot, just squeezing the bottom up. And then breathe in to lower down. And again, so pressing down through the right foot. We're just lifting the hips, nice straight line up and down. Now I'm going to add in a little bicep curl. So as I lift the hips, I'm going to bend the elbows, bringing the weight to my shoulders. Then as I lower the hips, I straighten the arms. And again. So remember, you can get rid of your weights if it gets a bit too much. We can do all these exercises without. But think about pressing down through the right foot, squeezing the bottom muscles, belly button and lower back connecting. We'll do two more. Last one. And then I'm going to keep the weights over the chest. I'm going to place the feet back to hip distance. So now left foot is in line with the left hip. And I'm going to keep it here as I place right ankle over left knee. Now turn your weights to face your feet. So again, let's just start by squeezing the hips up and down. So pressing through that left foot, nice straight line up and down. Now I'm going to do a little tricep extension. So basically I'm keeping the palms facing my feet, but again, I take the weight back towards my shoulders. So as I lift the hips, I bend the elbows, and then as I lower the hips, I straighten the arms. Now I want you to think about just connecting to your center. So imagining your belly button and your lower back, they're drawing in towards each other. They're meeting in the center of the body. So you've got a little bit of support for that lower back, bit of a connection to that center. 2 more. And last one. And then I'm going to place the feet back to hip distance, and I'm going to turn onto my side. So one arm goes underneath my head, the other arm goes along my side. So weight is resting onto my hip. Hips, knees and ankles are stacked. Now if you find you need a bit more support for your neck, place a cushion between your arm and your head. And imagine you're just lifting that waist, a little bit of a gap between the waist and the floor. And as we breathe out, we're going to float both legs off the floor. Breathe in to lower. So use your inner thighs here. Squeeze the inner thighs together. We want both legs to float off the mat. So we're getting a little bit of work into the sides of the body. Now if you wanted to, we could float the legs and we can lift the head. Have a little reach with that weight towards your knee. And then inhale to lower. Exhale up. Inhale to lower. And again. So you're getting a little crunch into your side. Or we could float both legs, and as we lift the head, we'll turn to look towards our feet, and we'll keep turning, rolling all the way over onto both sit bones. Now the arm that's under my head stays on the floor, it just drags behind me, and then I'm going to use it to slide myself all the way back onto my side. And again, so I float the legs, I turn to look towards the feet, and I keep turning. And then I slide all the way back down. Let's do one more time. Float the legs, turn to look towards the feet, have a little reach, you're folding at the hips. We want both bum cheeks on the floor. And then we slide all the way back onto the mat. From here, carefully push yourself all the way, oh nice and elegant, all the way up and over onto your other side. So, one arm onto the head, one arm onto your side. Hips, knees and ankles stacked, and we want that little gap beneath the waist. And to begin with, we're just going to float both legs. So use your inner thighs, squeeze those legs together. And just remember, it might feel a little bit different on each side. You might find one side's got a bit more mobility, a bit more movement or strength. But if you want to, we could float the legs and lift the head, have a little reach towards the knee, so we're getting more of a crunch into our side. And down, and again. Really good. If you want to, let's make it bigger. Floating the feet and turning to look towards the feet. So we slide. Your mat might come with you. Both bum cheeks to the floor, and then we slide all the way back. Stretching out, we want a nice straight line. And again, legs. We turn, look towards the feet. We drag that bottom arm behind us. It stays on the mat, and then we use it to slide ourselves all the way back down. So if you find it's a bit much with the weight in that bottom hand, let it go. And just make sure as you lift, just allow this arm to just turn naturally through the shoulder socket. And then use it to control your way back down. One more time. Use those inner thighs, glue them together. Lovely. And then all the way back. And then from here, gently push yourself all the way up onto your hands and knees. So, I'm going to get rid of one weight. I'm going to have one weight in my right hand. Hands under my shoulders, knees under my hips. Think about your chest lifted towards the front of your mat. So we're not rounding or looking down, we're looking forwards, chest up. Tailbone is pointed towards the end of your mat. So that should give us a nice straight line through the spine, and hopefully you'll start to feel those abdominals engaging. And from here, we're just going to breathe out and float the right arm. Inhale to lower. So as you work, everything else is staying stable. We're just moving through that right shoulder. But we could add in the left leg. Now I'm going to keep my left knee bent, but as I lift my right arm, I float the left leg, pressing the heel up towards the ceiling. Now, to hold my balance, I'm using my opposite sides. I'm pulling up and away from the floor. I can really feel my right side starting to engage. We're going to do 2 more. So think about your posture. Think about your position one more time. And then as we come back to the mat, swap the weight into your left hand. So again, hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, tailbone pointed behind. We're just going to float the left arm. Everything else is staying stable. And remember, you can get rid of the weight if you need. But I'm going to add in my right leg, keeping that knee bent. So as you add in that leg, what we don't want is for the abs to collapse or the back to round. So tailbone pointed straight, chest lifted. We're always pulling up and away from the floor. 2 more. Last one. And as we come back to the mat, I'm going to take a weight in each hand and I'm going to bring myself all the way down to the floor. Arms by my side, feet slightly wide of the hips. Point your toes and again point that tailbone out behind. And first of all, as you breathe out, lift the belly button and just press the arms towards the ceiling. Inhale to lower. And again, press. Now, think about from here. I'm quite round shoulders, you can probably see. I want you to think about your shoulder blades just pulling down the spine. So try and draw them back and down. Breathing out. Breathing in. I'm going to add in a lift with the chin and the chest. Again, pressing the arms up. And then inhale, slowly lower, chest, chin, forehead. So lift the belly button, lift the chin, roll up through the spine, press those arms towards the ceiling. And then inhale, slowly lower it down. Nod the chin, rest the forehead. 2 more. Last one. And as we come back towards the mat, I want you to let go of your weights, place your hands to your shoulders and push yourself all the way up. Take your knees out, bring your toes together and have a little sit back onto your heels. Now to finish, I want you to grab one weight, coming up onto your hands and knees. We're going to do some Superman planks. So if you can, come forwards into a 3/4 plank. So weight in your right hand, hands under your shoulders, and you've got a nice straight line from shoulder to knee. So we could come back to just floating that right arm. Now, if you want to make it a little bit tougher, we're going to curl the toes and lift onto our hands and toes. So into our full plank, and we work from here. Breathing out, breathing in. 2 more. Last one. And then as we lower that weight, we can lower the knees, have a little sit back, and then we'll swap sides. So coming forwards, weight into the left hand. Again, 3/4 plank, shoulders back, and we'll just float that left arm. Remember, it might feel a little bit trickier one side than the other. We could curl the toes, full plank. We float that arm. So really pulling up and away from the floor. 2 more. And last one. And then as we lower that weight, lower the knees, sit back onto those heels and spread your fingers. Give your wrist a little squidge. Loosen up. And come on up to your hands and knees. Hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Little cat stretch. Can you tuck the tailbone and roll up through the spine? Nod the chin. And then lift the head, sink the tummy, look up. And again, we tuck the tailbone, roll up through the spine, nod the chin. And then lift the head, sink the tummy, look up. One more time. And then as you come out of that stretch, bring yourself over to a seated position. And that is it. So well done, guys. Quite, intermediate to advanced there. Choose the options that work for you. So if you need to take it down a level, please do. And if you don't want to use weights, that's absolutely fine. But I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you again soon.